Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson had a lot to say about the offense in his press conferences this week, and he got brutally honest about it, and I want to talk about it. And he mentioned, which I believe he thinks is one of, if not the biggest issue for the Bears offense. So let's talk about this, people. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports All back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, ProfitX. ProfitX is America's #1 sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of the books. And because of that, guys, you will almost always get the best price on any total spreads, money lines, and player props playing on the site. And right now, if you use my promo code FST, you can claim up to $200 in profit cash playing on the site for your first 30 days, guys. Win real money predicting sports. Terms and conditions apply. All right, I want to give you guys some quotes here from Ben Johnson, who was asked about the offense and how he feels about the offense through the first 4 weeks. And he basically said the following, and I quote, "The inconsistent nature with which we're playing, we're shooting ourselves in the foot quite a bit. When I look at where we were through the first 4 weeks, a lot of penalties. I want to say we were top 5 on offense and penalties there through 4 weeks. So we're playing behind the sticks, and you can certainly feel that as I was calling it." And then he said, "I give the guys a lot of credit. I did feel like we were pretty good at getting back on track as much as we could, but it's just not sustainable when you're playing football that way. That's going to be an emphasis for us here going forward. We've got to get the pre-snap penalties under control, and they know that." And then he also said the following about the offense. "I think the drop back pass game right now, which once again, that goes hand in hand with the get back on track mentality. He's doing a good job, he being Caleb, of finding guys, and our guys are getting open. They're being detailed with the route running. But like I said, the run game is struggling. The play action game is not quite where it needs to be off of that. That's typically where you get a lot of explosives or chunk plays." All right, so basically, he ended it with saying, when you look at it as a whole, it was just a mess, man. I'm not proud of what we put out on tape. I think it's a reflection of myself, and I take it personally. All right, so a lot of brutal truth here from Ben Johnson, according to him, about the offense. And mind you that, myself, other Bears fans, we're not worried about the offense. At least, I think most of us aren't. We're worried about the run game, our run defense, our pass rush. Like, we're worried about these other things clearly that are not great. But Ben Johnson is talking about, the pre-snap penalties and all the issues on the offense. Let's just start right there with the pre-snap penalties. Those are certainly drive killers that I feel like have been at times devastating for the Bears in terms of the rhythm for the offense and where they want to go. Obviously, we remember Cole Kmet having a pretty terrible game with that and killing drives. And so to me, that is definitely something that they need to clean up. But I'm not worried about the pre-snap penalties. The reason I'm not worried about them is because I feel like the pre-snap penalties are a direct cause correlated to the learning of the new offense. And you're talking about the first month of the season, like, guys are going to get more comfortable within Ben's offense. And I think, as we get later into the season, I don't think we're going to have as many pre-snap penalties. Again, I'm projecting out here, but logically to me, that makes sense that, hey, we'll know the offense better. Ben's going to be able to get the play in quicker. Caleb's going to be able to go ahead and get that play to us, and everybody's going to be on the same page. So those early season, issues will be cleaned up later on in the season as we move forward. So that I'm not really worried about. And again, we do have to get those under control for sure. What I am worried about, you mentioned that the run game is struggling. The play action game is not quite where it needs to be off of the run game. That is directly correlated. I'm definitely worried about that. He even mentioned about the screen game, leaving a lot to be desired. Like, that was the one area he was critical about Caleb on, which is like, hey, he is not as accurate on those screens. And that has been the case. Surprisingly, Caleb, when he has to throw those quick outs, like, he's just overthinking it and like he's just missing guys. And the screen game, like, you have to hit the guy right where it needs to be because the blocks all come off that. So if a guy has to turn in a weird way or he catches it low or high, it messes up the timing and boom, the defender's in your face. So that is definitely something that he needs to look at for sure. But yeah, man, offensively, look, I don't want to beat a dead horse. We know the run game is bad, right? We know that is an issue. And so to me, my assessment for the Bears offense for the first 4 weeks is like a lot is being asked of Caleb. Basically, Caleb cannot have any sort of a down type of game or performance because we don't have a back to rely on to just, hey, can he just carry us for a drive? Like, remember that 19-play drive that we did have? Like, that's a rare occurrence, right? We're not going to be able to have that. We don't have the backs to just rely on them for a drive or two because Caleb almost has to be good or near perfect for the entire game for the offense. And so that's the tough part here because the pass game is just getting a lot of responsibility on it and a lot is falling on it. The beauty with the Lions with Ben Johnson was like Gibbs and Monty would just, take over games for them. And Jared Goff wouldn't have to do as much because there were games where all you had to do was hand the rock off to these guys and they're making it happen. So I'm waiting to see a Caleb handoff to DeAndre Swift for 60 yards or for 50 yards or Caleb to Monangai for that. Like the longest rush has been 20 yards, guys. It's not happening. So like that's the issue. So a lot of the offense is very dependent on the pass game. And I started by saying I'm not worried about the offense. What I mean by that is I'm not worried about the offense getting figured out. But I feel like it could be something where as we get later on in the season, unless we get the right guys in here, maybe, maybe it won't. I just have so much faith in Ben Johnson that I truly, truly feel like it will be fixed. But you still need the players out there to, go out and execute. There's a reason why Detroit, they had a little bit of a struggle early on in the season, but then after that, they caught their footing and, their new OC, John Morton, you're coaching guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Sam Laporta, like Jared Goff. Like, talent is the most important thing. Coaching is absolutely crucial, but if you're coaching a bunch of scrubs, your team's not going to be good. Not saying, obviously, the Bears are anywhere close to that. I'm just saying that there's a very, very high reliability on Caleb in the pass game that I feel like hopefully Ben is able to navigate through these next few weeks and be able to take that burden off of Caleb as much. All right. So that's the only part that I feel like I'm worried about. But as far as the pre-snap penalties, I do think they will get cleaned up. But I want to hear from you guys. What are you most worried about the offense for Ben Johnson? It's been a little up and down through the first 4 weeks, but we're still, a top 10, 12-ish team in terms of points per game. So you see that the immediate impact is still there. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you guys. Sound off in the comments below as always. Thanks for watching.